What's up? It's George the Fragrance Apprentice, and tomorrow I'm going to be releasing my 2019 Most Worn 2019 list. But I was thinking about 2018, and 2018 was a very unusual year for me because I wasn't really being the Fragrance Apprentice. I was just being George. I wasn't uploading any videos. I wasn't even really thinking about fragrances. I was traveling. I was trying to find myself, trying to get the film company set up and all that. And it was a very it was a year that was mostly orientated around my other interests apart from fragrance, until at the end I did a little bit of stuff. And so I thought, I want to share my Most Worn 2018 because it showcases what my wearing habits look like whilst on idle. And what I mean by that is when I'm not collecting, when I'm not really thinking about fragrance, when I'm not trying to find the next greatest indie or niche or whatever fragrance, where I'm trying to find something or find a hidden gem or find a new talent to showcase and all that kind of stuff. Last year was just me completely being me, wearing what I like. And so I thought it would be a very interesting list because not just that, this 2018 list is almost completely different from the 2019 list, which is when I become the Fragrance Apprentice. I'm searching, I'm getting very involved with the community and the fragrances and all that kind of stuff, and both have their merits. 2019 is a wild list, wild list, but this is a bit of a sentimental list, and there probably will be a few surprises that you wouldn't have even some stuff that even surprised me, but some won't, because you know me and you know this channel. But either way, it's an interesting list. So yeah, here are my most worn fragrances of 2018. So number 10 is this. This is from the House of Ranir. It's called Oud Rain. And it's funny because Ranir just sent this to me. He sent this to me last year. I think he was still under the impression that maybe I was making videos. I was going to be making videos a little bit more than I did last year, which was not a lot. And so I was like, yeah, okay, if you want to send me your new fragrance, that's fine. And he sent me this and it was incredible. And I actually took it on holiday to India. I took 2 fragrances to India. I took this one and another one that's going to be on this list. And the tropical rainforest, because we were at this kind of yoga retreat in India, and it was this incredibly beautiful tropical rainforest where they had all these different fruits and they had their own plantation, and it was incredible. And that cemented this, that cemented the image of what this is to me. And I really, have loved it since then, because it is a tropical rainforest with mango and oud, and it's quite something, and it was there with me at a turning point in my life. Number 9 is from the House of Duetto. It is, of course, Citiver. It's funny because when I think this is a telltale kind of thing, which is, you can see that I've used a tremendous amount of this now. When I'm not into trying to find new fragrances, I will go back to the fragrances that I love and that I started out with, and this is truly one of those fragrances where, I started out with this, I fell in love with it, and I just thought it was an incredible scent, and so I'll go back to this when I'm just kind of, relaxing and not totally in the hobby, and that's something that you're going to see throughout this list. But it's fantastic. I did a review on it. I don't even really want to say anything more about it because I think that review and everything that I've said, since then is absolutely perfect. But it's still one of my favourite fragrances that I have in my collection, and it's one of the most longest lasting fragrances that you can wear in the spring and sometimes even in the summer. It's an absolute phenomenon. Citiver from the House of Duetto. Number 8, of course, Dior Homme, which I can imagine some people might think would have been a little bit bigger on the list, but I just wore this autumn, winter, mostly autumn, if I was going out, this is kind of usually my go-to kind of thing if I'm going out to a play or a theatre kind of thing, going to a high class event, I'll wear this, and this is always here. And so yes, I wore that to a lot of the events. I remember going to a little theatre in Scotland wearing this, and I've wore it again recently, going to little theatres, and it's great. It's an absolute go-to for me for high class events where I want to dress up and look a little fancy and smell a little fancy as well. So Dior Homme. Number 7, this is one of my go-to fragrances in the springtime, along with Citiver. But if it's springtime, I will always be wearing this. If you meet me in spring, I will either really be wearing Citra now or this. And in recent years, more than likely this. This is Mondolo di Sicilia. This is a very light, fluffy vanilla. And it's really straightforward and really basic. Some people say, oh, God, I love it. I just love it. It's weird when you get really involved with fragrances and you just smell it and it almost makes you just feel like almost kind of emotional because you've had so many experiences with that fragrance. It becomes a very big deal when you connect with a fragrance like that. But Mondolo di Sicilia, I'm going to shoot a little cutaway and you will see I've nearly run out of this, and I think I'm going to just have to get the 125ml of Mondolo di Sicilia because I love it. Some people find it feminine, that's fine, that's okay, but it really, really just works for me. It's one of the greatest vanillas and one of the lightest and one of the most easy to wear vanillas that I've ever come across in the game. So, Mondolo di Sicilia. Number 6 is the fragrance that I wore in Romania, and it made me sort of fall back in love with it again. That's from the House of Guerlain. It's L'Instant de Guerlain Eau Extrême. And this is, the thing is, I was wearing this more than I was wearing Dior Homme. So this kind of took Dior Homme's place a little bit with certain events. Last year I was just in the mood for a little bit of Lidge. I was just in the mood for a little bit of L'Instant de Guerlain Eau Extrême. Patchouli, cocoa, it's ethereal, it's very mature, but it's also very sweet. There's a real connection that I have with this fragrance where if I want to smell grown up and I want to smell wise and I want to smell as though I actually know what I'm doing, which is not a lot to be completely honest, but if I want to bullshit my way through an event or through a social situation or a social setting and make people think that I'm grown up and I actually am a mature, responsible human being, I'm not even joking at this point, if I'm trying to fool people into people thinking that I'm a responsible adult, then I will always wear Lidge, and it's probably saved my arse quite a few times. Number 5. Now this has got a very special kind of thing to me. I don't even know if she knows this. I made a good friend wearing this. I went to Santorini wearing this. This was Edition Blanche by Chanel. And I just wore this throughout Santorini, and I was in Santorini for a little while. And I met a good friend of mine called Hayley, who I miss, and going to be seeing her hopefully next spring for spring break. And I will probably wear this because this is the fragrance that I wore whilst I met her, and just that whole period of time when I was in Santorini is defined by this fragrance, and so I wore it throughout the summer as well. I mean, that's weird, when you smell a fragrance and you're just there. Like, I just smelled that and I was like, hang on a minute, where am I? I'm in Santorini again. I can see the volcano and I can see the water and the blue tops and the white. What's happening? And that really. This has defined that for me. I did wear it also throughout summer a lot, but there are certain moments where you've kind of worn the fragrance for the first period of time and it just sticks with you. And Edition Blanche really stuck with me, so yeah, love it. Number 4 is from the House of Creed. I wore the absolute ever-loving shit out of Original Vetiver. I really love it. I've done a review on it, but it's refreshing, it's clean, it's crisp, it's fantastic. And it's just a go-to for me, just an absolute go-to if I want to smell all of those things that you just heard me say. Green, fresh, clear, crisp, boom, got it. Number 3, Fève Délicieuse, Christian Dior, need I say more? You've heard me speak about it so many times. It's my winter number 1. I just wear it when it's cold. I just wear it when it's my signature scent really in the winter time. And yes, I just wore it as a signature scent because I love it and it's chocolatey and sweet and brilliant and people love it, and it's got everything. It's got absolutely everything, and it really, really creates the best first impression. Anyway, you'll be hearing this, no joke spoiler, this is going to be on my winter list again this year, so I'll save you the trouble, we'll talk about it then. Number 2, some of you will literally just have been waiting for this. In fact, probably most of you will have thought that this was the number 1. But it wasn't, but it is a very close number 2. This is from the House of Creed. It's Millésime Impérial. Spring, summer, wearing it all the time. In fact, you see this bottle? This is not the bottle that I wore. I think I've thrown it away. I had an older bottle. I just, just go through it. Took me like a year and a half to get through that 75 milliliter because I just wear it all the freaking time. It's so easy to wear. It's my favourite fragrance of all time. It will be my inevitable last review when I stop doing this. This is the fragrance I'll go out on. So yeah, it's Millésime Impérial. What can you do? But my number one was a shock, and it was a shock to me. I'll just give you the timeline of events. In November, December of 2017, I realised that I was going to be moving to Scotland for 6 months. So I was going to be moving back to sort of rural Scotland to do a lot of different work projects, and was going to be writing a film script. And I wasn't really that bothered about taking fragrances. I took some of these that I've shown you here. But I was in House of Fraser, and I have no idea why I did it. But I was like, I just want to buy a fragrance right now, and I want to buy a pretty expensive fragrance. Don't worry, this is not something that I do on a consistent basis. But every now and then, I'm like, I'm a fragrance apprentice. I can wear a freaking expensive fragrance if I want to. It's my gig, you know? And I'd never really thought about buying it beforehand. But I knew that I liked it. But the fragrance that I chose to buy that day, in late November, early December, whenever it was from the house of Tom Ford, and it was Oud Wood. And over the course of those first 6 months when I was in Scotland, I mean, look how much I've used of it. Because I just wore it all the time. And I just totally got it. And as soon as I smell this, I'm there. I'm in the pub in rural Scotland. And it was lovely. So quiet. So slow. Such a slow way of living. You know, especially compared to living in the city and everything like that. It was gorgeous. And everything looked stunning and beautiful. And it was a really, really lovely time of my life. Really lovely, easy time of my life. And Oud Wood has all of the elements that just go perfectly with that. And that's why I wanted to do the review. And that's why the review was pretty mental last year, because I'd just completely fallen in love with it. And because this actually defined my year. It defined my 2018, did Oud Wood. And 2018 was one of the best years I've ever had in my life. So, you know, it's great. It's fantastic, you know, for that. And I am running out. And when I run out of it, I will probably get 100ml. I don't think I'll be using it at the same volume and consistency as I did last year, but who knows. So there it is. These were my most worn fragrances of 2018. I hope that this has given you some inspiration. Check out tomorrow's video, which is 2019, which is vastly different from this list. It's actually quite shocking, but there it was, and you've really seen what my collection looks like when I'm just sort of not really in the fragrance apprentice mode, and I'm more just, you know, doing my other work and doing my other endeavours. I hope that this gave you something, gave you some new information, or just gave you an insight into my 2018. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks very much for watching. Subscribe, like, all the stuff that other YouTubers tell you to do. Just go and freaking do that. I don't know. Anyway, I'm the Fragrance Apprentice. Cheers. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.